Hi guys, this is the Ranting Weasel again. Tonight, I'm going to talk about Pokemon GO, the fad, the phenomena, whatever you want to call it. Alright? I know you're probably thinking, what the fuck is this dude in his 30s talking about Pokemon GO for? Well, when the original games came out, Red and Blue, for the Game Boy, not the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy, the big brick fucker, I was 11 years old, okay? I didn't play the original games when they first came out. I didn't have a Game Boy. I didn't really watch to get into the TV show either. You know, I've since watched a bunch of the TV show, played Red and Blue, the originals, and played Ruby and Sapphire when I had my Advanced SP. But when it first came out here last July, I was dead set against playing it because I thought it was stupid. You know, it's just another phenomena game that'll go away, whatever. Well, about a week after it dropped, I finally caved and downloaded it because my fiance had it, my brother had it, my best friend had it. You know, pretty much everybody in my age group that was interested in the same shit that I am had the game, okay? You know, and it had a lot of nostalgia and stuff like that, and still kind of does. But Niantic has done a horrible job with this game, okay? Well, first off, no tutorial. You are literally thrown to the wolves. Like, here, go play this game. We're not going to tell you anything about it, but go play it. You know, walk around, catch Pokemon. That's all they literally told you, was walk around and catch Pokemon. They didn't say shit about Pokestops. They didn't say shit about nothing in the game. You know what I mean? You know, and their communication has improved minusculely. Okay, minusculely. Like this latest update that gave you the 7 Pokemon from Gen 2, which is bullshit, that you can only hatch from eggs. It's nuts. You know, they're like, oh yeah, catch new Pokemon, except you can't catch them. You have to hatch them. So that's bullshit. And, you know, the one thing that me and my friends have been waiting for since the game came out was trading. Not even so much the player versus player, even though that would be fun, you know what I mean? But trading, especially for the region-locked Pokemon, your Tauros, your Farfetch, your Mr. Mime, and your Kangaskhan, okay? Now, I currently have 4 or 5 Tauros, because I'm waiting for when they actually install the trading and roll it out, so that I can get those Pokemon that I can't get because I'm poor and can't travel to Asia and Europe and Australia, okay? It's just nuts. Like, and then there was an update that killed it for my best friend, the one where they wouldn't let you play it on a rooted phone, okay? Which, if for those of you who don't know, it's the quote-unquote jailbreaking of the phone. You go into the root programming and change it, okay? It's you're putting in different stuff that the phone company doesn't, and the manufacturer didn't necessarily think you needed or didn't necessarily want you to have, okay? Gives you options like making your processor faster and stuff like that, okay? But they put out this update in September, I believe, late August, early September, something like that, where they killed it. It would not run on a phone that was rooted. Okay, now, there is a rooting program that will let you still run it because it tells the game that you have a stock version of Android. But it's bogus, okay? And the not playing while driving. I totally 110% understand that because drivers don't need any more distractions, okay? But when they ask you, you know, they pop up the little warning and says, oh, you're going too fast. And it gives you a button that says, I'm a passenger. So when I press that button, it should let me hit the Pokestops if I'm quick enough, catch the Pokemon if I'm quick enough. You know what I mean? It kills it for people on public transportation and shit like that, unless you're on a line that stops every other block or something like that. Because it takes the fun out. You're supposed to be able to do it while you're out and about. Well, not everybody can walk, okay? I'm in Texas, and I've got a coat, a sweatshirt, and a t-shirt, and a hat on. And I'm still a little bit cold right now, okay? And if it's 40-something here in Texas, what is it in Maine or Montana or Ohio or Michigan? You know what I mean? These northern states, you know, Washington. Come on now. You know, this wasn't a very well thought out game as to, I mean, the release time was great. Drop it in the middle of summer. Tons of people are going to want to get out and play it. If the weather's nice, people are going to be out all the time. Now, here we are 5 months later, and it's cold. And their fucking monthly active players are dropping like a rock. You know, and they've included these new streak bonuses, which is pretty cool because they finally allowed me to get to level 23, which is 100,000 experience points. Now, that's not 100,000 experience points total. That's 100,000 experience points from level 22 to level 23, okay? Let me put this in perspective for you. Every time you spin one of those little Pokestop things, you get 50 experience points, okay? Every time you catch a Pokemon with a just regular standard-ass throw, you get 100 points, okay? 100 experience points. The most you can get from catching a Pokemon that you already have in your Pokedex is 210 points, okay? And that's for catching the Pokemon, an excellent throw, which is super hard to get, and a curveball, which is super hard to get, especially with an excellent throw, because it has to be like right on the little fucking circle when it's at the right size to qualify as excellent, okay? Now, if you get a new Pokemon, that's 500 points, you know? An additional 500 points. You get the 100 for catching it, and then the 500 for adding a new Pokemon to your Pokedex, all right? Well, like I said, I'm level 23 now. I have most of the common Pokemon, okay? Most of their evolutions, too. So, now here I am, level 20 plus, and I'm doing the same shit over and over and over again. You know, they do have basic PvP in the gym system that they've got going on, but even that's shady as shit. You know, they've made a couple of changes to it so that the button mashers aren't winning all the time, but you're not even playing another player, you're just playing their Pokemon. You're fighting their Pokemon. You know, you're controlled by an AI. If I want to fight somebody, you know, play against somebody, I want to play against them. I want their strategy versus my strategy to see who's the best player. You know, who has the actual best Pokemon in that fight. You know, who uses their shit best. You know, and they have done a lot to make the game a little bit more fair for newer players or for rural players, okay? But it's still, it's much harder being a rural player than being an urban player. And I'm kind of lucky because I get both sides of that. Like, where I stay at, I have 3 Pokestops relatively close to me. But then it's a half-hour walk to the next nearest Pokestop. Like, seriously, it's a half-hour away. Well, 15, 20 minutes, still. Longer than I want to walk to go get some fucking Pokeballs. I'm also a little bit lucky because I'm right at a highway exit. So there's a Denny on the other side of the highway here that's a spawning point for a bunch of Pokemon. Okay, I've got a bunch of random shit over there. All right, but it's just like it's super repetitive now. Now I have uninstalled it probably 4 times. Okay, for space reasons and because I'm bored with it. You know, I reinstalled it on this phone because I actually have the space to let it sit there, and I don't have to delete it to make room for something that I want more, okay? And now that I have the bike, it's a little bit easier to play. You know, I can go downtown Corsicana and hit all the Pokestops and stuff in there, relative safety, you know. Since I have a mount for my phone on my bike, I don't even have to like pull my phone out and hold my phone. All I got to do is touch the screen and shit. But it's just, they just don't listen to what the players want. You know, we've been asking for trading and PvP since the game came out. You know, that was one of the first major updates we wanted. You know, the tracking system. You know, the first one they had was decent. Okay, it wasn't great. It wasn't the best thing out there, but it was decent. It gave you an idea of how close or how far you were to the Pokemon. You know what I mean? And you could select a Pokemon, and it would it put that one up on the top of your little tracker bar on the screen, so you could see if you were getting closer or farther from that one. Now, they have the nearby and sightings, okay? Well, the nearby ties Pokemon to a Pokestops. So if you're in a small town with 1 or 2 Pokestops, that's pretty much where all the Pokemon are going to be. You know, they do still have the sightings feature that they rolled out after they took out tracking entirely, which was a horrible, horrible move. I mean, how are you supposed to catch shit if you can't find it? Okay? Yeah, randomly coming up on Pokemon is cool, but do you know how many fucking Weedles, Rattatas, Venonats, Pidgeys? I see them all the time. You know, I've started catching them again in mass numbers trying to get me a Ditto. But, you know, it's just the same thing over and over. Same mechanic over and over. It's just not as fun as it should be, okay? And then now they've released some of the Generation 2 Pokemon. They only released 7 of them. Like, what the hell? They released 150. Well, 147, because there still aren't the legendaries Mewtwo or Mew out there to be caught. You know, what you would think, oh yeah, well fuck, they'll do an event or something. No, they did that Halloween event. All they did was bump up your Grimers and your Zubats and your Marowaks and your Hunters and Ghastlies and stuff like that. You know, that are Halloween themed. And they did give you that little bump on the buddy Pokemon thing to help you gain some candies. Well, let me tell you, my buddy Pokemon is a Magikarp. Why? Because it takes 400 fucking candies to make a Gyarados out of a Magikarp. In the original games, it was a pain in the ass to evolve a Gyarados, because Magikarp is the most useless Pokemon out there. But it still wasn't as fucking frustrating as this is, okay? Especially being out here where I am, and we're landlocked, you know? We don't have a lot of water Pokemon. Like, I haven't even seen a Cielo or a Lapras or anything like that pop up on my fucking sightings or nearby to have that working. The first iteration, you know? It's ludicrous. You know, they want people to play the game and they want to make money off of it, but they don't want to listen to the people who are playing the game. And it's just frustrating, you know? I really want to play the game, you know, but I want the game to be a game that I can have fun while I'm playing as well. You know, it's a catch-22. Well, no, it's not a catch-22, because they do whatever the fuck they want and we still play the game. But like my best friend, he got rid of the game after they nixed rooted phones, because he didn't want to have to put his phone back to factory and reroute it with a different program just to be able to play Pokemon. I mean, that's nuts. He has DS and DS emulators, and you can play Pokemon on them just as easy and have a whole lot more fun. You know, the region locked crap, and you know, it would have made more sense to do it like the original Pokemon games, you know what I mean, or the handheld games. You know, certain Pokemon are in this. You know, you could say, oh, I'm looking for such and such Pokemon, and your buddy's already got one. He's like, oh yeah, it's on Route 110 or 111 or whatever, you know. But you could go to that route and have a decent chance of finding that type of Pokemon. Okay. Now they're just fucking everywhere. It's just random, you know, which is cool, but at the same time, like, you can't. Like, there's a reservoir not that far from me that has, like, fucking no Pokestops and no Pokemon in it. But that would be a perfect place to poke our Pokemon. You know? It'd be a perfect place to go hunting fucking Cielo or Tentacool or Magikarp or Goldeen, you know? Cloyster or Krabby. you know, but they just don't. It's like they just don't care about their customer base. You know, well, if you keep not caring about the customer base, people are going to quit paying money. You know, their revenue has dropped from 150 or 250 million in August to just over 15 million last month. That's crazy. They were making more than 10 times what they're making now. But because they don't listen to the customers, people keep falling off. You know, you can't make a game and then have customers give you feedback. And not just one or two, but a majority of the people playing the game saying, hey, we want this kind of feature. And then just say, okay, whatever, and ignore us. You know, that's not good for business. I don't care what your business is, you know. Like I say, I work in the restaurant industry. If somebody says, I want my meat well done, and I give them a fucking rare hamburger, they're not going to come back. You know, they're not going to want to spend money with me again. It's just not going to happen. But because it's like I said, I do like it. The main reason I kept playing it for the longest time was because it gave me something to do on my walk into work, okay? I have a 45-minute walk. It's 3 miles. I listen to music and shit, and that's another thing. They got this, in the programming, they have a kill all thing where it kills all the other apps running and whatnot. Well, that's fucked up because I have a nighttime filter on my phone to help me go to sleep so I don't stay up reading fucking articles or watching YouTube videos or cruising on Facebook all night. You know, it allows my eyes to get tired, or I'd be listening to my music on my way into work or my way home or wherever the hell I'm going, because I like to listen to music pretty much all the time. And it just randomly cut it off, randomly closed the program, and then you get out of Pokemon GO to go open your program, not even close Pokemon GO, just get out of it by hitting the home button, go back into my music program, Slacker Radio currently, but Google Play Music and Spotify as well would shut them down. Get out of them, start my music back up, and then I gotta wait for the fucking game to restart all over again. And it's like 5 fucking minutes from the time you hit the app to the time you can actually play Pokemon. You can actually go out and catch shit. Now what the fuck is that? Way, way too long loading time. Way, way too many little bullshit things. This Niantic started out with the game Ingress, which was targeted towards nerds. Okay, it was a niche game targeted towards a small audience. And their audience had nothing but good things to say about the game, because when they would tell Niantic, okay, well, we want this kind of thing to change or this or what, da-da-da-da-da, they'd listen. Well, now Niantic's got this huge game, okay? Over 80 million downloads in the US, alright? And they just don't listen to the fucking customers. Like, how do you make a product and then not listen to the people using the product on ways to improve your product? No, they want to go with their plan. Well, check it out. Their plan isn't making the customers happy. It's making us pissed off and angry. It's nuts. It's nuts. Now, I understand some of the things like, the Holocaust War Memorial or War Museum, Holocaust Museum had a Pokestops and a gym in it. I get the outrage over that because, that's a very serious kind of place, and games don't really have a use in that kind of a place. You know what I mean? You're supposed to sit and reflect on what had happened to these people, and you're looking for Pikachu. No. And I also understand private property owners not liking gyms and stuff and Pokestops and whatnot on their properties, okay? I understand that completely. You don't want people trespassing on your land, and that's your right as a landowner not to have people you don't want on your land. To be fair, most of the Pokestops and gyms were portals in the game Ingress before they were Pokestops or gyms. Okay? They just basically ported the information over from one game into this game and made them something slightly different. All right? But they've also stopped taking applications for Pokestops. You know, they'll let you submit one for removal, but they won't let you add one. Or submit one to be added. Like, we wanted to put one in our restaurant. Our old location that we just closed down. Just to kind of draw people in. You know, we're a local, not necessarily a landmark, but a local tradition. You know what I mean? Like people know Carpenter's Hamburgers around here. Okay? But they don't accept submissions. You know, I'd love to have a gym somewhere close to me so that me and my fiance could play, you know, go and get some fun time and whatnot without having to walk. She's not a walking person. You know what I mean? She's not like me. She doesn't walk forever in a day with no problem. All right? It's just not her. But they're not accepting submissions. It all goes back to you got to listen to your customer base. Because your customers are where your money comes from. You know, you keep your customers happy, you keep getting money. Now they're starting deals with, well, they had a deal with McDonald's in Japan already, which is a good idea. It's a great idea. Fucking put it in a place where people can sit down and eat. Like, there's one of the gyms here in town is at a Taco Bell. Yeah, put it in a place where people can fucking sit down, buy a drink, sit there for 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever you want to do, fucking around with that gym, and then take off, and it's no problem, you know, because they bring a little money into the business as well. But now they're starting with Starbucks. Well, that's all well and good, but we don't have a Starbucks in my town. I know, right? There's a town in America without a Starbucks on every corner. There are towns out there that don't have Starbucks, and mine happens to be one of them. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of Starbucks coffee. Let me take that back. I'm a huge fan of Starbucks coffee. I'm not a huge fan of the Starbucks business model of there's a Starbucks on this corner and then diagonally across the street there's another Starbucks. Okay? That's just corporate evil personified. Okay? Worse than Walmart. Alright? But it's just like, this could be a really fun game to play. And they could do a lot more to keep people engaged, and the biggest thing is that there's no endgame. You know, all you do is the same shit. You catch Pokemon, you go fight at the gyms, you evolve Pokemon, you hatch your eggs, and that's it. There's nothing really special. You know what I mean? I mean, with this latest update, they released fucking Pikachu with a Santa hat. Which, okay, cool, cute, whatever. But how does that actually make the game more fun? You know, I mean, that's the same thing in Final Fantasy when you have the black belt and you finish the class change quest for the Rat's Tail. Oh, what does he get? Oh, he gets a new name and a shiny new sprite, and that was it. He still had better attack and defense if you left him unequipped than if you put anything on him. You know, it's, okay, well, here, we'll put a hat on Pikachu and make him all cute. Yeah, okay, whatever, but that still doesn't help. You know, new graphics only go so far. They only go so far. And they don't help the game mechanics any, okay? You know, they just need to figure out something. Like I said, give us fucking trading. You give me trading, I'll be happy. And make it so that I can trade my region-locked Pokemon to other people for other region-locked Pokemon that aren't necessarily in the same country. You know? Make it fucking trading board. Wanted, da-da-da-da-da. Willing to trade, da-da-da-da-da. And so you can click on it and message that person and trade with them. You know what I mean? And PvP would be cool too, but I'm not so excited about that as I am about trading, because the object of the game is right in the fucking title. Well, right on the original promotions for them. You gotta catch them all, okay? How do I catch them all if I can't get all of them in my area? No, I don't own a car, so I can't travel. I'm a felon, so I can't get into some countries. I don't even have a passport, so that's a huge hindrance right there. You know, it's just, why? Why would you make it more difficult for people who want to play your game? You know, they want to play the game, but it's so difficult for them to effectively play. Anyhow, this has been the Ranting Weasel. Y'all have a good night. Take it easy.